Americans coming together and doing things that other folks said is impossible. In fact, American history is a testimony, perpetual testimony to the achievement of the impossible. Generations that got together in small groups to do extraordinary things. Got together in town greens, got together in church basements, got together in storefronts, got together in barnyards to plot and to think and to conspire about how to make this democracy more inclusive, to how to make this democracy richer and better and bolder. This is America. And here we are at this precarious point in history when the very ideals of our country, ideals of equality, ideals of opportunity are under assault. Think about this right now. I am so proud that I have a president that is rocking the foundations of history and building upon the foundation of our past with honor by saying simple things that you would think we should take for granted. Like ideals like saying, hey, the first bill I'm going to sign is going to give a testimony to the truth of our country, that men and women have equal rights. And hey, if a woman works the same job as a man,
Amen.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to make sure she can get equal pay. I'm going to say that if it comes time to serve in our military, I don't care about the color of your skin. I don't care who you choose to love. If you have courage in your heart, if you have strength of your convictions and the capacity to serve, then you're going to serve. And he got rid of don't ask, don't tell. This is a president that has built upon that tradition of equality and inclusion in everything that he's done. We in New Jersey know this. We stand at liberty's back. As she stands with her torch held high, we know New Jersey, we are Ellis Island. We know that our immigrants are an important part of our nation. That everybody here, all of us, very few of us perhaps, were here generation after generation. Many of us came one way or the other. We weren't all on the same boat, but we all got here. And so now we have a president that stands up and says, hey, I'm not going to chase out our talent. I'm not going to chase out the children that came here as babies, that studied in our schools, that know only one national anthem, that know only one pledge. They're valuable. He stood up, he's supporting the Dreamers Act. If you look at the consistency of this president, he, in every step of the way, is reaffirming our values of equality. But there's something else. It's the value of industry. It's the value of hard work. It's a value that has built a middle class that has been more inclusive and more bold, that gave opportunities to take families out of poverty like mine to possibility, to prosperity. This is the truth of what Barack Obama has stood for, and at the worst of our nation's crisis, when the auto industry was in free fall, when the financial industry was tumbling, when the foreclosures were rising, as the unemployment as well, this president stood up and stood into that area and is making progress that's unheard of. I was on the phone with campaign leaders yesterday, going through the data. 30 months of private sector growth, 17 different tax cuts for small businesses, focusing on making sure that we as a nation do the right thing by people struggling to make ends meet. Yes, Corey, we can bail out the people that were on Wall Street, but they got to play by the right rule of fairness and equality. We can't have a free-for-all. Middle-class families trying to balance their budget should play by the same rule as Wall Street. I listened yesterday as I was going to an appearance on CNN, listening to the passion of these campaign workers who were reaching out to me to talk to me about before my appearance, and the data was stunning. Like, this is the first year the most unemployment rate has dropped in this year, is more so than any other year in 17 years. Our economy is finally getting on the right track. And so the amazing thing now is I see what Obama has done to invest in us, to understand that education is critical. You could tell me you love teachers all you want, Mitt Romney. You can say that. You can say you love women all you want. I heard nothing else. I love teachers. I love women. I heard it during the Republican National Convention. I'm hearing it on the stump. I'm hearing it in debates. But I'm sorry. My mama would say that all the time. Boy, you can talk all you want, but until you show me something.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Because you can't walk right. Talk right, walk left.
You know that's right.
And so don't tell me you love teachers and then block our ability to bring more resources to our schools to secure those teachers' jobs and get them the opportunity to give education. Don't tell me you love education when you're cutting Pell Grants when the Ryan budget would have done just that. Support the president who's doubled Pell Grants, made more resources available to keep teachers in their jobs, who values public education. This is about creating opportunity. I see in my city right now, our biggest economic development growth period since the 1950s in Newark, our first hotels in 40 years, our first office towers in 20 years, and I know more importantly though, it's the small businesses we're starting in Newark. I was in Flint, Michigan, sitting with a small business person, talking about the same program that helped start a business in Newark, New Jersey. And here is a president that's standing up for things like the Small Business Administration and access to capital and 17 different tax cuts for small businesses. And here is our opponent who may want to talk about being this free market entrepreneur, but I'm sorry. His budget is not about investing in small businesses. He's not about expanding access to capital. He's not about empowering non-traditional entrepreneurs to start businesses in America. And so for me, it's not about the candidates. For me, it is now the call of the question. Will we as Americans stand up in line with our traditions, of our values? Will we continue the progress? And I just want to tell you one last story that I've been telling everybody because the difference was shocking to me. 4 years ago, I went to go vote, almost to the day. 10 years from now, 4 years ago. And I went to vote and I saw something I never saw in Newark before. There were lines around the building.
Yeah.
Now, I know I'm in Somerset County and I see some of our mayors out here, and I know how you all treat folks out here. You're so nice and good. I came in here just hugging people. Now, my city, I love Brick City because we keep it real. Okay? I always say, people say, why do they call it Brick City? And I'm like, it's not because of the architecture, don't be fooled. We are Brick City because we're like bricks. We're hard, we're tough, we're resilient, we're enduring. And so when I walk up to my polling site, it's not like here in Somerset County. Nobody says, nice to see you, Mayor. Nobody says, oh, what a historic day, Mayor. I walk up to this long line. The woman on line turns around, sees me coming, taps her foot for a little bit, puts her hand on her hip, and she says to me, don't you think you're cutting in this line now? You're going to wait just like everybody else. You're not special. My cell phone starts blowing up. My staff wants to know where I am. I got so many stops to make. I answer the phone and they say, Mayor, where are you? And I said, I'm not special. I'm waiting in line just like everybody else. I get to the front of the line, and now there's a crisis at the front of the line. There is a woman there screaming with her hands up, defiant, with this indomitable will, saying, I don't care if my name is not in the book. I am voting for Barack Obama. You have to understand something. This is the difficult situation that mayors are put in. I walk there and I see women screaming at the top of her lungs. I see everybody stop, looking at her, and then they look at me as the person of authority. And the people that are looking to me are perhaps the people that deserve the most sympathy in all of our nation during elections. The poll workers. You all know the Sermon on the Mount. These guys have difficult jobs. They're up early, they go to bed late, they're working all day, no respect. They get nothing to eat but 2 stale pieces of bread and some bologna. And these people, Sermon on the Mount, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. I don't know what version of the Bible you all have, but it also says in my Bible, blessed are the poll workers, for they have a tough job. And so I now walk in there as mayor of the city. I look at the woman yelling. I look at the poor poll workers who are looking at me and saying, Corey, do something. And all I do with authority and conviction is my voice, ready to take control of the situation. I put up my hands and I say, she's not leaving here until she votes for Barack Obama. Now, don't get me wrong. Wonderful moment. 1 year later, exactly 1 year later, it's voting day in New Jersey. I go to the polls. There is no line whatsoever. No line. I walk right in and the poll workers look lonely. They forgave me for what happened last year. They're just happy to see me. This goes to show simply that if we don't show up, if we don't come out, we have no right to complain. I get a little upset with some of my friends that start yelling about the person that got elected in that election 1 year after the presidential. And they say, Corey, they're cutting the earned income tax credit, which is a tax increase on working families. They tell me that we closed here in New Jersey offices that are Planned Parenthood. They want to go through all the things that they did to us. And I said, no, we did this to ourselves. Because when history called us, when the community called us, we did not come out. And so I want to tell you right now, as I begin to close, I want to tell you right now, this is the choice that we have to make. On this ballot here in Somerset, there are great leaders here. I see a sign up there. Marie as well for State Assembly. Shake that sign. With some pride there. We've got a critical assembly seat. We've got congressional seats. This is not about the candidates anymore. They've done their job. This is about us, and will we show up? Will we turn out? I'm telling you, Upendra's office is not going to be decided by the two men running for it. It's going to be decided by us. I'm telling you, whether we see cuts to Medicaid, whether we see the voucherization of Medicaid and the privatization of Social Security, that's going to be determined by us. And so now I give you the simple question. Will we in this city, in this county, in this state, will we give a clarion call resonant with our history, a call of conviction, a call to the conscience of our countrymen, and stand up and say with a roaring yes, we are ready to move forward and not move back, because that's what they want to do. Look around. They're moving us back on voting rights. They're moving us back on environmental rights. They're moving us back on civil rights. They're moving us back on women's rights. We have to say no. And so now I've got a few yeses for you. Let me see if I can hear them right. Are we ready for change? Well, remember what Martin Luther King said. Change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability. It must be carried in on the backs of people willing to work for it and struggle for it. Let me ask you another question. Are we ready for leadership? Well, remember what Barack Obama said. We are the leaders we've been looking for. Not them, but us. We must lead. Let me ask you another thing. Are you ready to pray for this victory? Well, let me tell you what Frederick Douglass said. He said, I prayed for years and I was still a slave. It wasn't until I prayed with my hands and prayed with my feet that I found my freedom.
That's right.
Let me ask you one last question. When election day comes and goes, are we ready to stand together as one people, echoing the great and legendary affirmative action efforts that made this country true and real? Are we ready? Don't answer yet. Are we ready to stand like New Jerseyans did in the past? People who stood for us in wars, people who stood for us for freedom, people who stood for us to build the towns and the courthouse steps that I now stand on. Is the answer yes? Then let us do the work. Let us carry the burden. Let us fight the fight, because I believe in us. I believe in New Jersey. I believe in America. I believe Barack Obama will be re-elected as president of our United States, and we're going to send him the two smartest men in America to have his back every single day. God bless New Jersey. God bless Somerset. And God bless America. Thank you.